You will most likely be called upon to create a firewall rule or a set of firewall rules. And so I created a simulation in the SY0401 version of the Security Plus Cert Guide. And if you have the book, you go to the disk, go to Simulation section, and go to Select Simulation, and 7-1, Configuring a Firewalls Rule Set. We'll click on that now and maximize the screen. And what we have here is a network. 3 sections, 1, 2, 3, connected to a firewall. And here we have a table of information. It's blank right now, and the job for us is to fill in that information. Now, the thing is, you can configure all kinds of different firewalls. There's some that are done in the command line, some that are done in the GUI. It depends if you're working in an operating system or a SOHO router with built-in firewall or a more advanced firewall appliance. So this is more of an abstract simulation of what you'd be doing with the firewall rules. As long as you know the basic information for the firewall rules, then it's just a matter of semantics and getting the syntax correct or going to the right place and clicking the right drop-down menus. So you need to know how this firewall rule works. So we have this table of information here. It's blank right now. We're going to fill it in. We have the source IP, destination IP, port number, whether it uses TCP or UDP mechanisms or both, and whether you're allowing or denying that access. And we fill this table based on the instructions that were given down here. The task, configure 4 rules on the firewall given the following information, and drag the correct information from here into the table. The first rule is allow the accounting computer to have HTTPS access only to the administrative server 1. So let's say that your boss tells you, okay, the accounting computer needs to connect to the administrative server, but we only want it to have access through HTTPS. Well, who are the players? Here's the accounting computer. That's on one leg of the firewall in the general area of the LAN. And here's the administrative server on another leg of the firewall. So to get through the firewall, you have to create that firewall rule for the accounting computer. So here's the IP address of the accounting computer, and that's right here. We'll drag and drop that to the source IP on the first row of the table. The destination IP is the administrative server .101. So we'll grab that IP, drag that into the destination box. Now, port number, what are we going to use? Well, it tells us we want to use HTTPS, and the port number for that is 443. So we'll grab that and drag it in. Now, are we using TCP or UDP as the transport mechanism? Well, HTTPS, like HTTP, uses TCP and TCP only. And we want to allow, so we'll drag that over there. We're allowing the accounting computer access to the administrative server on port 443 with a TCP connection. No other connections are going to be allowed between the accounting computer and the administrative server. The firewall will block those. So the first rule is done. Second rule, allow the HR computer to be able to only communicate with the server 2 system over SCP. Worded a little bit differently, but same type of idea. We have 2 players, the HR computer and server 2 up here on the third branch of the firewall. And we want to use SCP as our protocol. So we're going to grab this IP address. That's the source IP. This guy's going to be the destination IP. And now we need the port number. Well, what does SCP use? It's based off of SSH, Secure Shell, port 22. Only. And that also is TCP only as the transport mechanism. And we select allow, and that firewall rule is done. Again, keep in mind that the syntax you might use if you're in the command line will be different. You know, you can use netsh in Windows, or you could use the Windows firewall with advanced security, or you might have a firewall built into your SOHO router. Getting into bigger networks, you might have a different type of firewall altogether, something from Checkpoint or from Juniper Networks or Cisco or what have you. The graphic user interface or the command line syntax will be different depending on the firewall you're working with. But the general rule here will remain the same. You'll have a source IP, destination IP, port number, a transport mechanism, and whether that is allowed or denied. So let's go to the last two rules, which are combined into one. Allow the IT computer to have access to both the administrative server 1 and administrative server 2. Here's the IT computer, and here's administrative server 1 and administrative server 2. So that's who we're going to connect to. Here's the IT IP address. We'll grab that, go to source IP. Then the destination is this guy, .101. Ports, any. Why? Because it just says the IT computer should have access to both of the servers. It doesn't say only with a specific protocol. And IT people are generally allowed access to servers through any port. So we say any, and we do TCP and UDP. So either transport mechanism and allow. And the second half of that is, again, going to be the same IT computer. And then the administrative server 2, which is 102. Any for port number, TCP and UDP, and allow. This is just an example. This is just a simulation, but you could be called upon to make different connections between different computers with different ports. For example, let's say the HR are only allowed access to server 2 with TFTP. Well, instead of port 22, that would be port 69. TFTP is the Trivial File Transfer Protocol. It could be they're just sending very basic information over TFTP. It could be for grabbing an image when booting off the network or something like that. And it's something that the user doesn't even do. It could be just the computer's doing it. And so TFTP would use port 69, and that would actually have a UDP transport mechanism as opposed to TCP. So it could be anything. You know, you might connect with a syslog server. Then you would want it to be port 514 and most likely a UDP connection, although you can have TCP connections as well on a separate port. So keep all that in mind. You know, you're going to have your source IP, your destination IP, but it's all going to depend on how you want that computer to connect, and that will dictate the port number and whether you're using TCP or UDP. And you notice one little mistake in this simulation, by the way. The last octet of these 4 computers, it's 10 for each of them, and that's really not going to work out so well. This should really be 10, 11, 12, 13, and I have that in the errata on the webpage as well. But so sorry for the mistake there, but you can differentiate between the computers with the different slash 23, 24, 25, 26. That's CIDR notation, effectively telling you the subnet mask for each of those computers. So that's about it for this this lab. Check out as many firewalls as you can. If you have a Soho router, take a look at the firewalls that are there. Look at virtual servers and port forwarding. If you are running Windows, take a look at NetSH in the command line. Also take a look at the Windows Firewall with Advanced Security, which I also have a video for on my website. You can find that in the Security Plus videos list. And, you know, there's other types of firewalls as well. There's firewalls you can download. There's IP tables. There's all kinds of stuff. So try to get your hands on as many firewalls as you can and actually do this. Do what we're doing here in this table and create these rules. Okay, so that's it. Hope you liked the video, and let me know how you do on the exams. Good luck to you.